Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we'll show you how small businesses in Floyd County are planning to deal with new social distancing measures while keeping the economy moving. And as schools, daycares, and restaurants close or reduce their services, some are worried that gyms will be next.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Well, the time is now 5:29, almost 5:30, and good morning. My name is Lacey Roberts. Thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Today is St. Patrick's Day, and Brandon, although we are doing our social distancing this morning, I was checking for your green, but you got your socks on.
I got you. Listen, can't wear green on the air because it would filter through, but I've got them up. My socks are green this morning. They actually have four-leaf clovers on them, too. They're St. Patrick's Day socks for sure. You
got me. So are we going to be lucky with this weather today or the rest of the week?
Listen, the luck of the Irish is not with us. There's some green on the radar, though, so does that count?
Yes, it does.
Let's take a look and see what's going on. The radar's got its green on this morning, and you can see even some yellow mixed in there with it. Some heavier bands moving through parts of Lake Cumberland, I-75, even into parts of eastern Kentucky there now. We're going to continue to see that. There's some more bands back out toward Columbia and Bowling Green, so we're going to see that move in later, too, as well. The fog is a huge issue this morning, so if you're out traveling early, just make sure you take it easy and give yourself plenty of time to get back and forth this morning, because whole trip, 30-minute trip from my house to YMT here in Hazard, foggy the whole way. All right, we're seeing temperatures there in the 40s and 50s, 45 Ashland to 52 in Jacksboro. That's your range this morning. A few degrees warmer than yesterday, and not a whole lot more to add on to that today as temperatures get to right around 54 later this afternoon. Rain early, clouds late. That's the story of our lives here lately. We'll talk about the extended forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Lacey.
Thank you, Brandon. Later today, officials in Pike County will break down extra steps they plan to take, and we expect to learn what offices will close and which will remain open. Officials say they are continuing with Hillbilly Days planning, which is currently scheduled for mid-April. And Kentucky's primary election is delayed by more than 1 month. The governor postponed the election to June 23rd after consulting with the Secretary of State, Michael Adams, who made the announcement in a video posted to Twitter Monday.
Postponing the primary was not an easy decision, but the Republican Secretary of State and Democratic governor agree, and so do county clerks of both parties, and they are our frontline election administrators. My hope is that this delay will allow us to have a normal election. Even if not, this delay will allow me, the State Board of Elections, and our county clerks time to assess what changes we must make to ensure a successful primary election.
Now, Kentucky law allows elections to be delayed if the Secretary of State and governor agree to do so to a state of emergency. The election was originally scheduled for May 19th. Again, that is now set for June 23rd. And the Kentucky Democratic Party is delaying planned reorganization efforts because of COVID-19 pandemic. The reorganization typically takes place every 4 years during a presidential election, and it was set to begin this Saturday with precinct conventions. This doesn't currently affect the process to elect delegates to the Democratic National Convention, scheduled to be held this summer. And a meeting for Black Jewel miners in Cumberland will not take place today. Instead, attorney Ned Pillersdorf says he will address everything through Facebook Live. It is dealing with a settlement for those miners, and he hopes to be able to outline what the settlement entails. Currently, the settlement is under judicial seal. And starting today, the Perry County Fiscal Court will go to limited services. The Fiscal Court is asking community members to please call in advance with the department that you are needing assistance with and to see if the business you are calling about can be handled over the phone. We spoke to Perry County Judge Executive who says they are not completely closing the courthouse.
We want you to come here for essential services at this time, so that we protect one another. You know, we got employees here, and we got the safety of the public, which is my top concern.
Judge Alexander says he only wants people to come to the courthouse for essential services at this time to help better protect one another. WYMT's Dakota Makers will have more on this at our 6 o'clock hour right here on Mountain News This Morning. And as leaders across the Commonwealth work to promote best practices for health safety in the midst of coronavirus scare, small businesses in Prestonsburg came up with a plan of their own. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more on how the stores plan to keep things business as usual.
Small businesses rely on the community.
So what we expect this week, it's unknown. It's the whole thing of it. It's unknown.
But ongoing health safety measures and social distancing as a response to COVID-19 are creating a new challenge.
And right now is not a time that we are trying to beg people to come out in big masses.
So small businesses in Prestonsburg are creating solutions. Every store affiliated with Shop Prestonsburg is now offering curbside pickup to customers who do not want to risk a trip inside.
Call in and say, hey, this is what I want. You can pay for it, and then we hand it to you out the back door. You don't even get out of your car.
And using social media pages to advertise the merchandise so customers do not miss out.
A lot of Facebook live videos and stuff, so you can still shop at home. You can stay home in the comfort of your own home, even if you're sick or not feeling well, or even if you're just not wanting to get out with the public.
Owners say most stores are staying open for now, and they want to do their part to ease tensions.
And this is just a really good one for our community to come together during a hard time, or it could be a financial hurt for lots of people, and offer different ways to help out for our community.
Because that is what shopping small is all about.
So that's our whole point of being a small business downtown. Like, of course, you're not in this to make millions. You're in it for the community.
Community taking care of each other. In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
And some of the stores also offer shipping for their customers. To keep up with the different stores in the city, we have more information on our website, WYMT.com. And there will be no spring meet this year at Keeneland. Yesterday, the track announced the April races were canceled because of the coronavirus. The last time Keeneland did not hold a racing meet was during World War II from 1943 to 1945. And 75 years later, Keeneland is canceling its 2020 spring meet due to concerns surrounding the outbreak of COVID-19. Now, those who purchase tickets for the spring meet will automatically be issued a full refund. Keeneland will also continue to provide stabling for the horses currently on those grounds. And more than 100-year tradition will likely change this year. It appears that the Kentucky Derby will not be the first Saturday in May. Now, our sister station in Louisville, Wave, is reporting the 146th running of the Kentucky Derby will be postponed to September 5th. An official announcement is expected to be made this morning. And according to Wave, this is the first time since 1945 the Run of the Roses will not happen in May. That year, the government issued a ban on horse racing due to World War II. And as the COVID-19 outbreak spreads, could other businesses be forced to close? And everybody wants to know, is that going to include gyms? Many are hoping that it does not come to that, me included. Yesterday, the city of Hazard met with the Pavilion to discuss operations and decided to keep it open for the time being. People who work there say it is more than a gym. It's a way for members to escape.
To have severe anxiety, and I was told by doctors and stuff that exercise would help with that, and it has. I've met a lot of good friends, some people I call my family here, but before I came here, I ran tracks at the park, I ran concrete, I run roads. I'll do it any way I can, but preferably I enjoy this.
Workers at the Hazard Pavilion are saying while they hope to remain open, they are prepared for whatever changes may come as COVID-19 continues to spread here in the Commonwealth. And just like many businesses, the Pavilion has stations available for patrons to disinfect their hands and equipment. And please make sure you're doing that. Please disinfect that before you start using it. And when Governor Andy Beshear was asked about gyms and theaters yesterday, he said he will address that in his news conference today at 5, which you can see live right here on WYMT.com. Wuhan, China was the center of the coronavirus outbreak several months ago before spreading here to the United States. WYMT's Madison Pergram talked to a Clay County native who now lives near that area.
Nearly 7,500 miles away in Anhui, China, sits 28-year-old Cameron Wagers in quarantine.
You just get in a one room by yourself with very bad internet, and they feed you kind of the basic food here in China, which is basically like rice and vegetables and a little meat every day.
But going back a couple months ago to December, Cameron was living his normal life as an English teacher.
We started to actually hear like rumors about it instead of actually knowing the truth, and it was very scary. And then suddenly everything was just shut down. Everything just closed, and the government was like, stay home. So I was very scared.
Cameron returned to the U.S. in February for a pre-scheduled trip, but returned back to China to be with his fiancée to keep his work permit.
Got here on March 1st, and I was in quarantine in my apartment for like 7 days.
That quarantine led to an additional 10-day quarantine in a hotel in the countryside. This all for precautionary reasons, as he was tested 3 times for the virus, all 3 showing negative results.
You know, you can't take it for granted. Just the ability to have freedom to move around and go outside and not have to worry about, you know, getting sick. That's a real big thing that I think a lot of people take for granted.
As he continues to get his temperature checked 3 times a day, he does have a message to share.
My biggest advice would be don't panic, and of course take the precautions like washing your hands and not touching your face, and avoid large crowds, and everything will get back to normal.
Assuring his fellow Kentuckians this: there is hope and light at what seems to be a dark tunnel. Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
Wagers is now being quarantined with his fiancée as an apartment for 2 more weeks. Police say a Lexington man lied about being exposed to the coronavirus in an attempt to avoid going to jail. An arrest citation details that this man right here, James Anderson, was arrested Sunday on an unrelated charge, and while being booked into jail, he told corrections officers that he had been exposed to COVID-19. Anderson told them a coworker of his roommate had tested positive for the virus. Officers thought Anderson was likely lying to avoid going to jail, but the jail refused to accept him, so he was taken to the emergency room where he was quarantined and swabbed for testing. The officers eventually followed up with Anderson's roommate, who told them he had no idea what Anderson was talking about. Police say Anderson is now facing charges of disorderly conduct and false reporting. A Harlan County man is behind bars charged with burglary. From a warrant, we learned Gregory Riddle is accused of breaking into a barbershop last month. Investigators believe he broke a window to get in. And from the warrant, we learned Riddle is accused of stealing a gun and other items. The Breathitt County Judge Executive is facing a new list of charges this morning. Those include abuse of public trust, official misconduct, and theft. Officials say last month, Judge Executive Jeff Noble ordered a county employee to take public property in the form of 14 tons of gravel and give it to a private individual and dump it on that person's land. Noble then reportedly tried to hide the delivery by filing documentation that it was delivered to a county-maintained road. And later on Mountain News this morning, as social distancing measures disrupt daily life, one wedding chapel is helping bring people together virtually.
The gloomy forecast continues this morning and all the way through the end of the work week. I'll tell you when we might see some brief relief in about 3 minutes.